Hi, everyone. Welcome to our episode 15 at World Without Borders, the podcast. And please join us for some conversation tonight. And Renata, Suzy, please introduce yourselves to our viewers and listeners. Renata, please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Renata Anderson. I'm originally from Brazil and I live in Portland, Oregon, in the US.
Hi, my name is Suzy. I'm originally from Cameroon and I live in Kentucky in the US.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. And I am Megan, based in Cape Town, South Africa, and born and bred Cape Townian. And I'm still right here where I started off, loving every minute of Cape Town. So, guys, today I'm interested in hearing your thoughts around things that really irritate you, right? So things that other people do or happen around you that you sometimes just like sort of give a side eye and go, right, I don't like it when this happens. So I'm going to call it your pet peeves, right? And I'll give you an example of one or two of mine. I've been sitting thinking about this during the week. A few things happened around me and I went, I'm not very happy with it, right? So one of the things that really gets to me is when I'm queuing in the shops and I'm waiting my turn, and the next person behind me comes to stand almost on my shoulders, right? And you can feel them breathing on your back or in your neck or on your arm, or somebody speaks to you while they're eating. I'm not sure about you, but I don't do that very well. Anything you guys can think of that? Can you relate to that firstly? Is there any of those that ring a bell for you?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I love the name, first of all, pet peeves. I was like, what is a pet peeves? It took me a lot of time. I didn't even pronounce that. So, the pet peeves, I was trying to, if I mispronounce it, forgive me. I'm not better in English nor in French, so we're just trying here. So, like, the pet peeves for me, I think it was more like when somebody, I'm not somebody that gets angry a lot. But when somebody actually touches my hair, I hate it. I was like, do not try to even want to know if this is real or fake. Please don't touch my hair. That is one of the other
Yeah,
pages I think I have. Like, yes.
I think
Oh,
that's a common one. That's a
Mm,
common one, Susie. People don't like themselves or their hair, especially being touched. I know a lot of people like that,
yeah.
for sure.
but
Renata, how about you?
always or just with people that doesn't know you?
But it's like, because when I do my hair, when I wash my hair and it's in this state, and some people come and then it looks rough. It looks as if I just came out from like I don't know, the ground with like, I look like a mad person. Like when somebody keeps touching your hair, and I was like, I do not, please. Mm-mm,
Oh my goodness.
Funny.
mm-mm.
Yeah. So for me, like Susie, it's the first time I heard this word. It's a funny word, pet peeve. It's interesting. And one thing that really annoy me is when I don't know why, but here in the US, all the time I have scam callings. It's all the time. Like, do you have that, Susie?
What?
The callings from scan.
Talk about it. Like,
This is very annoying, no?
it is annoying. Like, how did they even get your number? I know it's promotion on all the stuff, but like,
Yeah, and
it's
call
annoying.
centers all the time want to sell you things that I'm not interested in that, like insurance for car. I don't have a car. So
What
why,
the issue?
like, I'm not your target, honey. Sorry.
Like pet peeves. I don't have a pet, so I don't have any peeves.
Yeah, like, stop calling me. Please, I'm begging you. No, I'm not going to buy an insurance for a car that I don't have. So, eh, yeah.
Once when you get your driving license, you like get all this in your mail, and you're like, you have to buy a car now and all this. I'm like, no, no, please,
Oh
please.
no.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Renata, you know what I've had? I've had my own insurance company calling me to sell me car insurance. And I went, honey, well,
Yeah.
I didn't use the honey, but I'm like, you really need
Organize
to
it,
do some
no?
research, right? You need to do some research before you go calling people, because I've been with your company for over 5 years. So, yeah, those calls, those marketing calls are not fun. but I come from a marketing and sales background, right? So you
Wow.
understand the sectors of marketing and sales that involves cold calling. So I try and be nice with them, but you know what irritates me the most about those calls? Sometimes you answer and then they put the phone down, they end the call. And so
Oh.
Yeah.
you make the effort to answer their call and you're planning on being really polite and just saying, look, no, thank you. I'm not your in your basket or whatever the case might be. And before you can even say hello, the call drops. And I suspect it's about them hitting numbers. So number
Yeah.
of calls answered, right? And that irritates me. That
I
is
also
something
Yeah, I agree with you, and I also think pet peeves really depends on the person. It's like it's
yeah,
not something you can generalize per country or per how somebody looks or per or how somebody where he grew from. Like it's there's so much a wide range when we talk about like this pet peeves. Like somebody like I know some people that don't like when you touch their car. I don't know. They have a personal relationship with their car that the way you enter, the way you close the door, they just have that personal in relationship that you can't
yes,
transpass uh, and things like that. So I think pet peeve is a very wide range. Like we can go and like pet peeves in our job site. Like I also let's talk about it. Pet
yes,
peeves where you work, things you hate people to do.
yes, absolutely. It's very personalized, right? And again, I think the important thing to know about it is that, or to recognize, is that people have different boundaries. So, what one person is happy with and uncomfortable with, another person might not be. One person might feel completely good with a situation, and another person might be feeling completely unsafe, depending on their background and their normal environment. So you've got to be so careful because you actually don't know who you're offending and you know what you're doing to the person that might be annoying them or
Yeah.
might be putting them in a situation that's really uncomfortable. So there were one or two other things that I thought about, and one of my big peeves, it's been rushed. I'm born in the middle of May, guys, so I'm a Taurus. We do not get rushed for anything, for anyone. It's just a thing, and it's been with me all my life. Do not shout at me and say we're going to be late because you're taking your time. It's like you shall wait for me, right? I'm doing my thing.
Huh, I'm a
I'm
Capricorn too.
terrible. Yeah, I'm terrible with timing. I must admit, I'm often late. I'm just one of those people. I've got time blindness like nothing else. But don't rush me. It's like you'll see my ugly side.
I think like a lot of people like are in that same space with Roach. Like me as a Capricorn, I'm not I'm Capricorn. Me as a
Oh
Capricorn,
my
my thought
goodness.
is like once you rush me, I shut down. Once
Yeah.
you are trying to rush me to do something, my brain shut down. It's like my brain doesn't want to do it. If I rush myself, my brain works perfectly. But once somebody else steps in to try to rush me, I'm like we total shut down, nothing works again. I'm just like at that place where I just become blank. But I give myself a lot deadlines. If you see my office, there's always deadline. There's like by this date we need to do this, and I do it.
Yes.
But if somebody
Yes.
says by this date you need to be effective, my brain is like, no, it doesn't work like that.
No.
It's not
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
that.
So Susie, you say you go into shutdown mode if somebody rushes you. I go into rebel mode. So the louder somebody shouts, the less I do.
Yes.
And I'll just like, I will not speed up what I'm doing because you're shouting at me. So now it becomes one of those issues, right? And I go into total rebel mode. So how's my husband? Let me give you a giggle. So my husband is from what I hear, that typical male that takes 5 minutes to get done, right? So we know we need to leave home at a certain time, and I will spend like an hour and a half getting done. I don't do makeup. I don't do a lot with my hair typically. I don't, but I just don't like being rushed. So I start early and I'll be doing everything. And then my husband comes through, like through the shower. into his cupboard, getting dressed like 10 minutes before we need to leave. And then 2 minutes before the time, he goes, "Are you done yet?" And I'm still finding my shoes and, putting in my earrings and so on. My husband shaves his head like regularly. So when he washes his face, he just like washes his hair too, right? I've still got to brush the hair. I've still got to style the hair. And he just comes through this whole thing in 10 minutes and goes, "Are you done yet?" It's probably the reason we've almost gotten divorced 5 million times since we met each other, because that's the worst thing you can do to me is stand there and go, "Are you ready? I'm good to go." Oh, it's one of those things.
That's just so funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he knows it already, so he uses it to irritate me a little, so that I speed things up, and then I go into rebel mode, and then like every time we go out, by the time we need to walk out of the door, we're staring at each other like sumo wrestlers, and then we go out to the car and we do what we need to do. But it's just the way we are. He knows his timing. He's always on time. He's always early. And I'm one of those people, if I need to leave at 10 o'clock, you need to tell me that we need to leave at quarter to 10.
So that you should be
Otherwise,
ready
it
then.
ain't happening. Yes.
That's funny.
Otherwise, it ain't happening.
But I had a question for you guys. Like, what is the weirdest pet peeves you've ever heard about? Like, we are in a world where everybody's different, but what is the weirdest one you've ever heard about that made you say this is just crazy? Like, anybody can chip in and need like to talk about that moment.
Well, something I've heard about Susie, and I can fully relate to this. So I don't like strangers touching me. I
Mhm.
hug and greet and kiss friends and family all the time, all the time. But if somebody that I don't know comes and touches me without permission, it's not a good thing, right? But the thing that I've heard about is we expectant women have strangers coming up to them and these people touching their belly to say, "Oh, how far are you? How are you feeling, mom?" And I'm like, who gives them permission to just go up to a random woman on the street and just touch her belly?
That's just weird. Like, how would you just come to a person, like the person's just there, and you just come like, "Hello, oh, your belly looks good. Is your baby okay? Oh, is it kicking?" I'm like, please, please, please.
No, no, no. Doesn't I don't mind the conversation, but don't come to me and just put your hand on my belly. I mean, that's asking to be knocked out. I'm
That's
sorry.
just crazy. That's trespassing some rules. Like,
Yeah, I agree. How about you, Renata?
But
What have you heard of?
don't you think it's an aspect of culture that, like in Brazil we kiss and hug everybody, even people that we don't know. We just was introduced, and we
Yes.
start to kiss and hug. And I know that's very different in different cultures. And so here in the US, I have to control myself a little bit. Now I think after COVID that everybody like get
Yes.
very high, like very far away. I,
Yes.
I started to change my behavior also, but
Yes.
I know that was very influenced by the culture I was raised in. So
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
some culture have more boundaries and others have more.
yes,
Yes.
They touch
Definitely.
this, and it can
Yes.
be funny and weird also. It depends with whom you are doing that. Yeah.
Right.
yeah, I know, right? I personally is like, I can relate a little bit to what Renata says. Like, I'm a touchy person. Like, I like talking to people. I maybe touch them, but if you touch me, it's a different thing.
You can touch others, but no one can touch
And
you.
if you touch me, it's a different thing. Like, I'm like, But I'm the kind of person when I laugh, I'm like, hey, hey, I would like to like touch you. I'm like, hey, go on. But if you touch me, I'm like, hey, stop. Why are you touching me? Don't do that.
Then I don't think it's culture. It's Suzy.
I don't know, but I like when I'm talking with people, we have this conversation. Like I'll talk to you, maybe touch you a little bit, like that's me talking. When somebody else is doing that, I'm like, hey, touch me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of that will that's like a pet peeve that maybe I do it to people. I don't know, unconsciously in my mind, I like relate that way. But when somebody does it to me, I don't like it. I don't like
Yeah.
when people touch me at all. But
Yeah.
I'm very touchy. It's like
Funny. That's so funny.
just to show you how like pet peeves really change. It really is like it changed according to the person. You're like that may be your weirdest thing. For example, she talked about like eating while talking.
Yes.
She doesn't like it, but there's some people that they don't like it, but they don't mind doing it too.
Mhm.
Talking to
Exactly.
people why they don't mind doing it because in their subconscious is like, oh, it is something normal. But when somebody else does it, it's like, this
Yes.
is not cool. Why do you touch people? Like, don't touch people. And
Yes.
I'm like, you're touching people while you're talking. It's weird. But
Yeah.
yeah, we do that.
And
I
Susie
hear
talking
you.
about her hair. I think I remember when I was in Africa, the kids were crazy about my hair. They come like to see if it was a real hair, and they come like, and suddenly I was talking with somebody, and then, a kid come from behind me, and I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting you, and I was like, yeah, this is my hair, a real one.
Yeah.
They were surprised. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
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 And I think for that as well, Renata, aside from being a cultural thing and then also being some of it very individualized, I think with kids we can give them leeway, right? Because
Yes.
they're curious and they're exploring, and that's what you want kids to do, right? So they're going to ask questions that are awkward and straightforward
Very.
because they don't know and they are curious. But when a grown person comes and does those things, I'm like,
Yeah.
which rock have you been under? Right? Where do you come
Yeah.
from?
Well, the kids
Because,
didn't annoy me. It was just
yes,
surprising. I was like, I wasn't
yes,
expecting. I was like, oh, okay, and I understand
yes,
their curiosity, but
yes,
yeah, but I agree with you. If it's an adult, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
It's
Why?
like the same thing. It's like the same thing here when, for example, you are black and you live in a white community. It's like they don't see this. They don't know that your hair can naturally be this curl by nature. They were like, "Did you put something on here? Is it a product?" Like, I want to know. And they're like that curiosity. They were like, "Oh, I want to touch it. I want to
yes,
see if this is real. Is it real? Why is it? Why does it look like that? It looks kind of nice. I really like it. It smells good, but I don't know. Is that even possible for somebody to be like this?" And so
yeah,
yeah, you open that news fair to them, like the skin of yeah. I've met some people that have never seen black people in their whole life,
Hmm.
yeah,
and so yeah, the first person, a black person, as friends. So they have never seen a black person's hair in. They maybe saw it in movie, but in real time, they don't know what it looks like. And
yes,
then
Movie.
now you become their like how can I say their rad lab. The person they come
yes,
and try, they're like, okay, is this hair
right,
normal? They want to touch it. Oh, why is your eyes like this? The eyebrow, like the lips,
yes,
the teeth. Like they are so curious about every single details concerning you because they have not seen something like that. And then at a
right,
certain point, you understand. You're like, okay, I'm in the middle of people that don't look like me, and they want to know more about. They're not like blaming you of being different, but it's like, okay, how can we like understand you? You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay.
yes, yeah. And I think there's also a big difference, and you can normally sense it with people when they approach you in a certain way out of that curiosity, perhaps. Their body language, everything is different, right?
Mhm.
But when people are actually coming and really invading your space for whatever reason, you can feel that because I'm
Yes.
very sensitive to that. I'm really sensitive to vibes around me. And so if I walk into a room and there's energy there that I'm not liking with someone, I get myself out. That's just me. I'm very sensitive to those things. So I'm also an observer of people. So I'm I really watch things, and I tend to really, if I don't trust someone, I'm like really focused. I'm like, I'm watching you, right?
Like,
Yeah, I'm like, I'm
I got my
watching
eyes
you.
on you full time. You're not doing anything. You're not moving. Yeah, like
The,
I got
the Taurus come,
yes.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's true. And
that's
it's not even something sometimes that I realize I'm doing. And I've been in situations like that where there was someone in the room that I wasn't comfortable with, perhaps. And when I walk out, I'm completely tensed up. I'm like focused. Yeah, I'm like focused that I don't even realize how tense I am just from being so focused on that person and just like watching them. So yeah, maybe that could be a totally different kind of, like a trauma response probably to something.
Yeah.
But I'm so sensitive to that. And so I really, I don't know if you've heard this expression that I don't have to say anything. My face says it all. I sometimes really have to readjust what my face is saying in certain.
I saw like on Instagram that say I don't talk, but my face talks. Even when I am silent, my face still talk. I'm like, I don't know how to be silent.
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm one of those too. So I've got to be really careful sometimes about not letting my thoughts wander, because sometimes, for example, if I'm bored in a situation, right, my mind goes. I'm like, if you can't capture my attention, I'm gone. I'll be standing there and my mind is everywhere else. And I'll be thinking about wherever I am, and those expressions will be running across my face. And this person is probably so confused who's talking to me because everything's not happening the way it should on my face, but that's how I am. If you can't capture my attention, like my mind's gone. So I think I've become so aware of the fact that I'm like that I really try and pay attention to these things. And I watch myself really carefully. So I've got to like bring myself back every now and again and just like participate in what's happening. So yeah, that's I think part of me. And it's probably somebody else's pet peeve that
Yes, I think
people are
that's
standing in front of you and just not actually in the conversation, right?
yeah.
mhm.
I was thinking about that because something that really annoys me is when I'm talking and nobody's paying attention. And I think it's maybe the experience about being a professor. It's like, oh, nobody's taking notes.
Yes.
And I think we have like maybe a common thing today, that when you go for a lunch or talk to someone, and they are always like,
I
and so,
hate it. I hate it. I
this is
hate it when I'm talking
universal,
to
huh?
someone. I'm like,
Yes.
the worst is that there are older people that are even worse than kids. Like older people that they all, I was like, I can talk to a young person, like a young Gen Z. I don't mind them using their phone because it's part of their identity. So I
Yes.
can disregard that, And
Okay.
but I cannot talk to an elder person and then the person is worse than a young person and is always on your phone. Like I can say I'm a young generation too, but my phone doesn't control me at all. I can leave my phone and spend 2 days. This
Yes.
phone doesn't control me or my mind or the way I respond at all. So when I
Yes.
talk to people, I'm like, please leave your phone at home. Can
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
And just like, let's talk, let's have this communication and this conversation. Everybody's like, 1 minute.
yeah. Or when
Yes.
you're going to have lunch or dinner with a group of people, so all the
Yes.
phones in the table, I was like, "Ah."
And
So
I just
I
like,
always let
okay,
my phone in my purse because if I am with someone else, I'm going to give my attention to someone else.
yes.
So
You're talking with
yeah,
somebody and the person is looking TV. What are you watching at TV that you cannot watch in your house? Like if you, in my brain is the same thing. Like if you at least took your time, you paid your transport, I don't know, whatever you drove to this place, and then all that effort to come and stay, you could stay in your house and do the same thing because you don't need anybody, you don't need any friends because you already have your best friends here. I don't know. That's my point of view
Yeah,
on it. It's like phones. I'm very. That's one of my biggest pet peeves.
yeah,
Somebody using the phone in
yeah.
our conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
And
this is not culture; it's universal. So
Yes. No.
annoys everybody.
It is terrible. Like you even see, like I was surprised to see even younger generation here that can leave their phone. You see younger people, they can stay without their phones. Like
mm,
I see some people that are millenniums, they can stay without their phones and just put it
right.
aside. And we are
Yeah,
having a
Yes.
conversation, we are laughing, having all this conversation together, even with the Gen Z generation. And then you see grandfathers and grandmothers that cannot leave their phone for a minute. It's
Yes.
so
Yes.
irritating.
Yes.
I was like,
And yeah, it's definitely gotten all of us into that space because what also gets me is the fact that whole families go and sit at the dinner table with their phones.
and
yeah.
nobody.
Oh my God.
Ma- You cannot even. My father would just look at you one. Just he doesn't talk. He will just look at you, and then that phone will fly from your hand without even knowing and go somewhere else. He will just be like he will just call your name. Maybe if it's like Nelly, he will just say Nelly, and you'll be like,
Yeah, it's gone.
it's
Yes.
gone. It's like the phone, like you just it's gone because it's like because family, like when we eat family dinner, it's like a whole conversation. Like I'm talking to my father, talking and my father, we all talk, we always talk, argue very loud. We're always very loud.
Yes.
And we are not really
Yes.
arguing, we're just sharing, but we're always very loud and laughing. All my family everybody laughs in my family, they all like laughing. So it's like we're all laughing and screaming for no reason. And we're just really enjoying that moment. And then somebody's on the phone, then they'll ask me, are you depressed? Tell us. Start telling us all the secrets because you're hiding something with this phone or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I hear
So
you.
we have a big
And
pet peeve in common. So now,
yes, we do.
therefore,
At a certain point, technology will be our pet peeves. Like when
Yeah.
somebody talk about technology, you're like,
yeah,
please. And the thing is like the more the technology advanced, the more we like the system without it. It's like the
Yeah.
system of like the natural like communication, like going to a picnic. Back home, we used
Yes.
to go for picnics. We don't need to go to a place where there's a field to do a picnic. We do a picnic even at home, like on the floor. We put on a
Yes.
mat on the floor and just put things up like, okay, I'm doing a picnic right here at this moment at this place, and we just talk. We watch TV show together. It's just so fun, like that family and
Bond.
even yeah, the nieces and the nephew, they're all connected. They go and play outside. There's no like everybody stays home with their iPad. It's not a thing.
Yes.
Like you can
Yes.
have an iPad, but the staying is not a thing. We don't do that.
No.
We don't do that whole like
Yeah. Yeah. But I definitely think, I don't know if Renata will agree with this, but that thing where your phone gets snatched out of your hand and just chucked aside if you come to the dinner table um, with your phone, definitely an African generational father thing.
yes,
Because we would not have dared. I mean, they were not even cell phones when we were
yeah.
growing up, but we would not even have dared to take the phone to the table. Not a
This,
chance. It's like
mm-mm,
done. You
mm.
know that's not going to happen, so you don't even take the chance.
Yeah. When
Yeah,
your phone rings, you don't most of the time when it rings, you're just like, okay,
exactly,
let's keep the conversation.
exactly,
Like, how can you dare?
exactly.
Your father is there and you're taking the phone.
Yeah,
No, no.
no, not
I
going to happen.
I love this power of look. You just look and okay, I
Yes,
He
understand.
doesn't speak. It's just like there's one look, and just with the look, there's a whole communication going on, and you understand what he's saying. It's like there's a
exactly.
whole dialogue just with the look. It's like,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
like, okay, you're like,
Yeah,
just a look, and you're like, oh, let
yeah,
me
yeah,
just save myself from here. Like this pet peeves
yeah.
are that's
That's
very good one.
definitely a thing. That's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a thing. So, guys, we at the end of our podcast for today. But please, if you enjoyed the conversation, if you've got something to add to our conversation, please pop it in the comments. Don't forget to share the episodes with friends and family. Subscribe to our channel, please. Like our channel, and please engage with us. Drop your comments if there's anything you'd like to be chatting about, or for us to be chatting about. give us your suggestions. We'll definitely take them to heart. So Suzy, Renata, thanks very much for another awesome and fun episode. And we'll see each other next time.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Cheers.
Bye.
We're crossing oceans, crossing skies, lifting each other as we rise. No more limits, no more walls. Together we answer the world's calls. World without borders, we are free, telling the stories of humanity. No more divide, we stand as one. Together, together, our journey's begun.